What you heard is true. I am Nick Shell, and I did a video and a blog post on my blog, Family Friendly Daddy blog. It was called 5 Ways to Predict If You Would Go Bald and 5 Ways to Deal with It If You Do. The Nick Shell system. I'm looking at it right now on my phone. So this is the follow-up. This is the anticipated sequel. I've just kind of stumbled into 5 more ways to predict whether you're going to go bald. So if you haven't seen that, Google it. Again, 5 ways to predict if you will go bald and 5 ways to deal with it if you do. There's a YouTube video and there's a blog post, whichever you prefer. Okay, let's get started with number 6. What's the 6th way, according to my own original unprofessional method? What's the 6th way to predict whether you are going to go bald? How soon you have gray hair. Now, I am someone who I believe is going to be balding the rest of my life. Notice you don't see any gray hair. So what I'm telling you is, if you do have gray hair, you're more likely to keep your hair. But if you don't have gray hair, you're more likely to go bald sooner. That's part of my theory. So number 6 would be predicting if you're gonna go bald, that you don't have gray hair. That's a bad sign if you don't have gray hair. It's almost like a trade-off. Kind of like with one of my other theories, how if you can't grow a beard, then you're probably gonna keep your hair. So basically, if you have gray hair young and you can't grow a beard, that would be in favor of you not going bald. But if you've got no gray hair and you can grow a full beard before the age of 18, that would be a sign that you will be losing hair. So number 6 though, number 6 is that the 6th way to predict if you're gonna go bald is if you don't have gray hair. If you do have gray hair, it's a sign that you're gonna be safer to not losing your hair. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is that you're a hairy guy in general. The 7th way to predict that you're going to go bald is that you are a hairy guy. I mean, obviously I've already mentioned the beard thing, but I'm the hairiest guy I know. I mean, I just am. I manscape, and I'm not ashamed of that. I don't really have a choice. I am a very hairy guy. So it's not, and I know some guys can grow a thick beard, but no body hair, or even vice versa. Typically, I think they go hand in hand, but I think body hair in general, if you're growing hair on your chest, and under your arms, like it's nothing by the time you graduate high school. And even in your early 20s, you're noticing you just have to get out the clippers and just shave all over, which was me. By age 21, I was having to do that. I've been doing that for 15 years now. So the more body hair, the more likely it is you're gonna be someone who goes bald sooner. All right, so that was number 7. Number 8, forehead. I have noticed that people who have a smaller framed-in forehead are ones who are less likely to go bald. So just look, see, I don't have a small forehead. And one way to predict whether you got small, I guess you can look at your fingers and do this, and but my forehead's always been that way. Whereas other people, they have the smaller foreheads and they don't lose their hair as predictably. I've noticed that so many times. So that would be number 8. Number 9 is going to sound similar, but I mentioned before about looking at your hairline when you are 1 year old to project when you're 35. Well, another thing you can do is just to look at your hair when you were a boy, just in general. I have a son who's 7, and I've noticed as I walk him to school, there's so many boys, and I never thought about this or noticed it, so many boys who have tall foreheads, and you can almost see kind of the way my hairline already looks. Like it's already like pushing almost past Norwood 2, and it's like, well, this kid's 10 that I'm looking at. I'm like, he's probably going to be the guy that's, Norwood 3 officially by the time he's 21 or something. So I think for sure, not only is it important to look at your hairline when you're 1 year old, but I think even as a boy, I just think that a boy who has a taller forehead and already kind of, you can even see a little bit of just where it kind of goes up here instead of being framed in. Most likely that's going to be a boy who was going to lose. So I think looking back at photos, not only at age 1, but also when you're a boy, let's say around 10, before you've even hit puberty yet, what signs do we have of what's going on with your hairline? And then lastly, you want to figure out which family member you have adopted your hair from. It's a lot of people say, oh, it comes down to your mother's father. Well, that's not true, because you've seen families where there's 3 boys and one of them goes bald and the other doesn't, or whatever. So that's obviously not true. Nor is it just simply about your father. It could be true, but it's not necessarily. What I believe is there's one person in your family that ultimately you predict their hair, or you adopt, or you inherit their hair, I guess you could say, that gene. And it may mean also that you have the same kind of hair. Like if most people have straight hair and then you have kind of thick curly hair, then I'd say chances are look at that person and see how things are with their hair. Like my brother-in-law, I recently interviewed and did my first 5 steps on him, and he said he has always had thick hair, and his mom's side of the family, I think, is that way. They have thick hair, low forehead. That's just how they are, and he adopted that gene from his mom. So you want to figure out which person is it. Don't assume it's your dad. Don't assume it's your mother's dad. Figure out not only the texture of your hair, but the thickness of your hair or the thinness of your hair. If you can look at one person in your somewhat immediate family and figure that out, chances are you're going to follow their footsteps as far as that goes. So if you've got thick hair and you notice another family member has thick hair, or vice versa with thin. So those are 5 more ways. To me, they're not as strong as the first 5, but I think they're important to consider. I feel that predicting whether you're going to go bald isn't that hard once you know what you're looking for. And I think there's a lot of urban legends that throw people off. So these are my second 5, which 6 through 10. And again, if you want to check out part 1 of this video, just Google this. I'm about to say it. 5 ways to predict if you go bald, and 5 ways to deal with it if you do. The Nick Shell system. That's me, Nick Shell. There's a blog post that exists on the internet on familyfriendlydaddyblog.com, which if you Google that, you'll get there. Or you can also look at the video. You can find it, which is also in the blog post. I'm making it really easy for you. Especially if you're a younger guy and you're wondering, oh no, am I going to lose my hair? There's some predictable ways to do it. And I'm not the kind of person who's going to say, no, you definitely won't. You might. A lot of us do. And then if you're worried that, oh no, I am, I guess keep watching more videos, because I'm here to help guide you along that way. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to pretend like it's no big deal. I'm here to help you deal with it psychologically. I'm Nick Shell, and I care about you.